The Ford F-150 is the best-selling vehicle.
If you own a Ford F-150 with the 10-speed automatic transmission, there is a very good chance you have already encountered something that did not feel right. A harsh shift, a clunk coming out of a slow roll, a gear hunt on the highway that seems to have no logical explanation, a shudder under light acceleration that makes you wonder if something is genuinely wrong. And there is also a very good chance that when you brought it up to a dealer, to a forum, to a fellow F-150 owner, someone told you one of the myths we are covering today. Myths that sound completely reasonable. Myths that are costing Ford F-150 owners real money every single year by causing them to either do nothing about a real problem or spend money on solutions that do not address the actual cause. The 10-speed automatic in the F-150, officially called the 10R80, has been the subject of class action lawsuits, NHTSA investigations covering nearly 1.3 million vehicles, and more forum debates than any other single component in the F-150's history. Understanding what is actually true about it versus what people believe about it is the difference between protecting your investment and slowly destroying it based on bad information. These are the transmission myths that Ford F-150 owners fall for, and the truth behind every single one of them. Myth number 1. The harsh shifting is just the transmission learning your driving style. This is the first thing most Ford dealers tell an F-150 owner who comes in complaining about harsh shifting or the notorious clunk that thousands of owners have experienced. The transmission has adaptive learning software. It learns your driving habits over time. Give it 500 miles, it will smooth out. This explanation is not entirely wrong. The 10R80 does have a genuine adaptive learning system, and there are legitimate cases where a recently reset transmission needs a break-in period before shift quality normalizes. The problem is that this explanation has become a reflexive response used to dismiss complaints that have nothing to do with adaptive learning and everything to do with a documented hardware defect. The CDF clutch drum, an internal component inside the 10R80, has a bushing that in early production versions had a documented tendency to slide out of position. When that bushing moves, it blocks oil flow and causes Teflon ring seals to fail. The result is erratic shift patterns and gear slamming. This is not a learning phase. This is a mechanical failure. And telling an F-150 owner with a failed CDF drum bushing to give it 500 miles is not advice. It is a delay that allows the damage to worsen. Ford issued Recall 25S19 in March of 2025, covering certain 2024 and 2025 F-150 trucks to address an incorrectly machined valve body that can cause reverse gear failure and unexpected forward movement. This is not something adaptive learning fixes. If your F-150 is experiencing harsh shifting push for a proper diagnostic that specifically checks the CDF drum and valve body, not just a software reset and a send-off. Myth number 2. Transmission fluid is a lifetime fill. Ford has at various points described the 10R80's fluid as a lifetime fill, implying it never requires a scheduled change. This guidance has been repeated so frequently that a significant number of F-150 owners have never changed their transmission fluid and have no intention of doing so. This is one of the most expensive myths in the entire Ford truck community. Transmission fluid breaks down under heat and use regardless of its initial quality. The friction modifier additives that allow clutch packs to engage smoothly deplete over time. The fluid accumulates metallic wear particles. Heat cycles degrade its chemistry in ways that are completely invisible until the clutch packs begin slipping and the valve body starts behaving erratically. Lifetime in Ford's context means the fluid does not require a change during a typical ownership period under ideal conditions. It does not mean the fluid performs optimally for the physical life of the transmission. For a working F-150 that tows regularly, operates in hot weather, or covers high mileage, ideal conditions bear no resemblance to reality. Change your F-150's transmission fluid every 40 to 60,000 miles under normal conditions. Every 30,000 miles if you tow regularly or operate in high heat. Use Ford's specified Mercon LV fluid exclusively. The specific friction modifier chemistry in Mercon LV is what the 10R80's clutch packs were engineered to run on. Substituting a generic fluid regardless of compatibility claims affects how those clutch packs engage and how quickly they wear. This is the single most important service item on the 10R80 and the one most consistently skipped. Myth number 3. If the dealer can't reproduce the problem, it doesn't exist. This myth costs F-150 owners the ability to get a documented problem properly addressed while it is still under warranty, and that failure to document almost always becomes a very expensive problem later. The 10R80's issues are notoriously inconsistent in their presentation. The harsh downshift that happened 3 times on Tuesday morning may not happen once during the dealer's test drive Wednesday afternoon. The clunk that occurs specifically under very light throttle at low speed may require exact conditions the technician's drive never replicates. Dealers are generally required to reproduce a complaint before authorizing a warranty repair. No fault found gets written and the truck gets returned. The solution is documentation. Record video of the symptom whenever it occurs. Note the exact conditions: temperature, speed, throttle position, warm-up time. The more specific your documentation, the harder it is for a dealer to dismiss, and the more likely a technician is to know what to look for. Several F-150 owners have successfully used owner-captured video as the basis for warranty repairs that were initially returned as no fault found. Document every occurrence from day one. Never assume it was nothing. Myth number 4. The 10-speed problems were fixed after 2023. This is the myth currently costing the most money to the most F-150 owners, specifically those who bought 2024 and 2025 trucks under the confident belief that Ford had permanently resolved the 10R80's issues with the CDF drum. Redesign rolled out in late 2022 and 2023. Ford did update the CDF drum. The third iteration used redesigned bushings and improved sealing that addressed the primary failure point, causing the most dramatic early failures. For many 2024 and 2025 F-150 owners, the transmission has performed significantly better than earlier production trucks, but the narrative that the problem is fully and permanently resolved does not match what owners are currently reporting. NHTSA received reports of a 2024 F-150 with total transmission failure at just 11,000 miles, attributed to a CDF drum bushing failure in a truck that was supposed to have the updated part. Faulty gear solenoid failures have been reported at 6,000 miles on brand new 2024 models. The valve body, with its own documented issues including solenoids that stick and aluminum construction that can warp, was the subject of recall 25S19 covering 2024 and 2025 F-150 trucks specifically. The CDF drum update improved the 10R80. It did not cure it. If you bought a 2024 or 2025 F-150, assuming the transmission story is over, check the NHTSA recall database with your VIN regularly and consider Ford's extended service plan as a necessity rather than an optional add-on for this specific truck. Myth number 5. Tow haul mode is optional and makes no real difference. This myth is responsible for a significant amount of transmission heat damage that accumulates silently in F-150 trucks that tow without engaging the correct mode. And it is believed by a surprising number of owners who simply never understood what tow haul mode actually does under the hood. When tow haul is engaged, the 10R80's shift points rise so the engine stays in its power band under load rather than hunting between gears. Engine braking is enabled on deceleration. The transmission's hydraulic pressure settings are modified to manage additional load more effectively, and the transmission is prevented from upshifting to its highest gears under conditions where those gears would cause laboring and excessive heat generation. Without tow haul engaged, the 10R80 under significant load on a warm day, with grades will hunt between gears, generate substantially more heat, and put more stress on the clutch packs during every shift event. Owner data from aftermarket transmission temperature monitors shows a temperature delta of 30 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit between towing in normal mode versus tow haul mode under the same demanding conditions. Every additional degree of sustained heat is additional fluid degradation and additional clutch pack wear. Engage tow haul every single time you hook up a trailer to your F-150, without exception. It is not a preference. It is the mode the transmission was designed to operate in under load. Myth number 6, a transmission flush is better than a drain and fill. On the 10R80 specifically, this question has a clearer answer than most F-150 owners realize, and getting it wrong costs money in ways that are both immediate and long-term. A pressure flush exchanges virtually 100% of the fluid volume, including fluid in the torque converter. A drain and fill replaces 30 to 40% of total fluid volume, leaving old fluid behind in the converter and passages. On paper, the flush sounds superior. The problem is that pressure flushes can dislodge accumulated debris from passages and seals that have been in place for tens of thousands of miles. Debris that gets pushed into sensitive areas of the valve body or clutch pack circuits when high-pressure flush fluid moves through the system. Ford technicians and transmission specialists have documented cases where a pressure flush on a higher mileage 10R80 was followed immediately by shift quality issues that were not present before the service. The recommended approach for the 10R80 in your F-150 is 2 drain and fill services performed a few hundred miles apart rather than a single flush. This exchanges approximately 60 to 70% of total fluid volume without the pressure disturbance risk. Slightly more work, significantly lower risk on a transmission with known valve body sensitivity. Myth number 7. The transmission is fine as long as the warning light doesn't come on. Last one, and this is the myth most directly responsible for the catastrophic failures that blindside F-150 owners who were convinced their truck was operating safely right up until it was not. The F-150's transmission temperature warning is designed to alert you when the transmission has reached a critically dangerous temperature, not when it is merely elevated above optimal. The warning light is a last resort alert. Its absence is not confirmation that everything is fine. Owner data from aftermarket transmission temperature monitors consistently shows towing temperatures well above 200 degrees Fahrenheit on hot days with grades, temperatures generating zero dashboard warnings while actively degrading the fluid and accelerating internal wear. The 10R80's fluid chemistry begins breaking down meaningfully at sustained temperatures above 200 degrees. Treating the warning light as a health monitoring system is fundamentally misunderstanding what it was designed to do. Add a transmission temperature monitor to your F-150 if you tow regularly. They connect to the OBD port, require no permanent modification, and cost under $50. Keep sustained towing temperatures below 200 degrees. If you consistently see temperatures above 220 under load, consider an aftermarket auxiliary transmission cooler. F-150 owners who have added them report 15 to 30 degree temperature reductions under the same towing conditions, a reduction that directly translates to extended fluid life and longer clutch pack longevity. 7 myths. 7 ways Ford F-150 owners are paying more than they should, accepting problems they should not accept, or damaging a transmission they are convinced is fine. The 10R80 is a sophisticated gearbox with real capability and real weaknesses. Knowing both sides of that equation is how you protect your investment and avoid the repair bills that catch unprepared owners completely off guard. Save this video, share it with every F-150 owner you know. Drop a comment below telling us your experience with the 10-speed, good or bad. We want to hear from this community. Subscribe for more truck tips, myth-busting guides, and money-saving content every week. We will see you in the next one.